Those, of course, were the eloquent words of Jeff Merrick off the front of our CHL Top Prospects game on Monday night from Quebec City, 24 hours after a terrorist attack that rattled our country. As Jeff said in the opening, Faizal Khamisa was supposed to be a part of that broadcast.
Faizal decided to come back to Toronto, and prior to this moment has not been on air since. Faizal, as you know, is a huge part of this show, a co-host of the show, a friend of the show, and when he reached out to us, we were more than willing to have him come in. He didn't have to do this. We appreciate him doing this, and he joins us now, Faizal Khamisa, here on Tim and Sid. It is good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Why today to come back on air?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. You know, I came back Monday afternoon. Kudos to this place for getting me back here. A lot of respect to that, but I just wasn't in a good frame of mind for the last couple days, and I was reactive, I was emotional, I was clouded, my judgment was still very off from what I'm used to. Now, you guys know I'm a pretty calculated guy in what I do. I'm pretty poignant in, you know, the way I think and how I express myself, and I wasn't able to be that over the last couple days, and I didn't feel like I was in the right frame of mind to speak about anything, let alone something as dramatic as what happened on Sunday.
Have you seen what Merrick said off the top of that broadcast?
I did, and it you know, aside from, you know, what he said to me, the way he handled it was beautiful, and I was with him on Sunday night, and you know, as soon as the events were learned, you know, the mindset of our team was, if this game happens, it's not going to be about hockey to start. You know, it can't be about hockey to start. And it was beautiful to see everyone jump into that frame of mind and show their support. And their first reaction was, this needs to be acknowledged. People need to be respected, and the proper tributes need to be laid out for people who lost their lives in this dramatic and sickening kind of act.
So, go ahead, Timmy.
I was going to say, like, oftentimes when these things happen, you go here and you see a lot of fear, you see a lot of hate, you see a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
Just in that moment, surrounded by a Sportsnet crew, where I'm guessing there weren't many Muslims among the group. What was the feeling?
Yeah, so let me take you guys through the timeline, if that's okay.
No,
I
think it's important.
Sure, yeah. So we're getting set for a CHL, NHL Top Prospects game on Monday. You know, I've been doing the CHL a little bit over the last couple of months. It's been exciting. I get to talk to different people. Usually I talk to you guys, so this is a big change of pace for me. And we're in our meeting at the hotel, which is 1.5 kilometers down.
So when you say we, it's
the
Jeff,
entire
it's RJ
crew.
Broadhead, Sammy Cos.
Yeah, directors,
everybody.
graphics, Mike Brannigan, everybody involved with this broadcast that's there. Colby Armstrong, Todd Warner, everybody's in this meeting. There's 12 of us. It's a big production. It's a big game. And thus there are a lot of moving parts in terms of the broadcast. And you know, I'm learning my role. I'm going to interview Nolan Patrick. I'm going to interview Nico Hischier. Those are going to be the top 2 picks in the draft this year by all consensus. That's exciting for me, you know. And we're wrapped up our meeting around 8 something. Finished dinner as well, same restaurant. And you know, Jeff reads a text from somebody saying, "Hey, did you hear about the shootings in Quebec City?" I'm sitting next to Jeff, so I pop on Twitter. I was like, "Oh man, this is concerning." And immediately I see shooting in St. Foy, and I'm like, our hotel is on St. Foy, and I don't know Quebec City. I don't know if it's a different city. I don't know if it's just a street. I Googled the logistics around the mosque that was said to have been hit, and it's 1.5 kilometers down from our street. So, you know, our meeting wraps up, not abruptly, we're done, but everyone's like, all right, let's go to our rooms. And we can see, you know, police officers driving down. They're talking about, you know, locking down the hotel, securing the hotel. And I go to my room, and, you know, it doesn't make any sense, but my first reaction was to turn off the lights and close the blinds, because there are reports that there's still a gunman potentially on the loose. And for some reason I felt that, you know, maybe if my windows are closed and this guy ends up, for some reason, coming to our hotel, he won't be able to see the color of my skin and potentially won't shoot into this room. So I've never had a train of thought, you know, like that. And, you know, 30 minutes later, my parents, you know, get in touch with them. They're obviously rattled knowing how close we all are, not just about me, just the entire team and people. This is not away from where, you know, society is going on. And, you know, they're rattled, and, you know, my mom ended the phone call, and I tweeted this, and this was the most rattling, you know, hey, if you're going out anytime, don't let anybody know you're Muslim. And that was what was shocking to me, because I'm proud of my faith. My family's proud of their faith. You know, what built them up from being refugees and entering this country 40-something years ago was their faith and their belief that, you know, they're going to be okay. And so that rattled me, and that's part of the reason why I haven't been able to fully digest everything and talk about it as much as, you know, yeah.
So at what point in that chaos, for lack of a better term, do you finally think about the broadcast and say to yourself, there's no way, and who contacts you? Like, how was that
So
decision
yeah, so I'm sitting in my room and I'm tweeting because that's what I do. And again, I've been tweeting all weekend because I was in Owen Sound the weekend before for the other OHL game, and that's when Donald Trump's executive orders are signed, and I'm seeing all these hectic events happening in the States. And again, as a proud Muslim, I'm trying to put a voice to, for people that don't have the resource to do that, or don't have the freedom to kind of be that voice. And the whole weekend while I'm tweeting about what's going on in the States, I'm thinking to myself how proud I am to be in this country where we're generally safe from these things. We're generally away from these things. It's an anomaly when it happens. And Canada is so beautiful in its diversity and its acceptance. And so to have this happen Sunday was shocking. So I'm tweeting through it, as I generally do. And I get a call from the director of the game, Shirali, and he calls me. He says, "Hey, don't be alone right now. Come down where we are in the restaurant." And he's there, Jeff Merrick's there, Mike Brannigan's there, and I see them and I just, I start crying. And because again, it affects me first because again, it's human beings and we're doing this to human beings in this age, and it's sickening. And the secondly, of course, the Muslim element where I'm very proud to be of this faith, and it's something that's been going on for a very long time, and it's just heightened and made worse over the last 10 days. And again, to have it happen as close to where we were was shocking, but being there with these people, there was comfort, there was safety, and there was freedom to express myself however I wanted. And at no point did they mention the broadcast to me. At no point did they say, "Hey," until I calmed down a few hours later, that, "Hey, whatever you want to do, we're open to do this." And I actually didn't make the decision until the morning after because I thought, if I get some sleep, like maybe this is something we can fight through and try to do it. But the more I thought about it, the more talking about hockey the day after this happened in the same city, for me, as close as I was to the situation, it just wasn't something I could do. And again, everybody efforted their work to get me back on Monday afternoon, and I had to do it. And I felt like it was the right decision.
This conversation isn't meant to be comfortable because it's not a comfortable conversation, and not a lot of people are having on. And I know there's going to be a bunch of tweets. There's going to be a bunch of people saying, "Hey guys, stick to sports," and that is becoming less and less relevant. It's also becoming harder and harder to do. But I feel like the important part of the conversation, it's all important, but there's a bunch of people feeling the same way that you do. And I was rattled because it's not supposed to happen in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, we were able to separate ourselves and say, this doesn't happen in Canada. Is that part of the process that went through your mind? Is that part of the conversation that you were trying to work through?
Look, I'm not here if Canada doesn't open its doors to my dad. My dad was born in Uganda, and in the 70s, they were, everyone of Asian descent was just kicked out by Idi Amin. They were just told, you have to go. And, they fled to refugee camps all over the world. And it was in 1972 when Papa Trudeau, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and the leader of the Shia Ismaili community signed an agreement to allow them to come into this country. My dad lived in Prince George, BC before finally making his way to Toronto and, starting a life from nothing. And a bunch of people did. And again, the importance of giving people a second chance. Like Masai Ujiri said it, he's not who he is if he's not allowed to be in America and wasn't given a chance to be there, to have an opportunity to grow. And so all that stuff happened, crosses my mind again, because we're supposed to be better than this. We're telling ourselves we're better than this in this country. And again, Canada is so beautiful in its diversity, in its acceptance, in its cultural mosaic that we have. It's unlike any country in the world. We can say that because it's been so beautiful. And yes, things like what happened Sunday are an anomaly, but it's a reminder that they still happen. And we live in this idea where acceptance and tolerance are what we kind of bridge ourselves on. Well, acceptance and tolerance are not enough anymore. It's about learning about the actual similarities between human being and human being, and then outlining the differences and seeing how they're not very different.
But because of social media, you don't have to talk to people anymore. You can just yell at them in any racial tone you want. And there's zero consequences. Like, listen, I see your feed. I follow on social media as well. And I got to be honest with you, the more I look at social media, to me it's the devil. It is the devil because hatred in 2017 is allowed to grow and allowed to fester and allowed to just roll like a snowball down a hill at a far greater rate. Just the ignorance of it. If you want to spew that hate and garbage, you can do it in 2 seconds. No one's going to call you
without any
on
information.
It, with zero information.
That's what made me reach out to you when I was sitting there reading all this stuff. Nobody has information. And I'm thinking, how tough would it be to be leafing through all this crap when there's absolutely no information. But I think,
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But again, I want to again, I think this country is amazing, and again, I'm grateful for this country for giving my parents and my community and several people from other countries opportunities to succeed and grow. I mean, we have a mayor in Calgary who is, Nahid Nenshi, who's visibly unlike any other mayor in this country, and he's one of the most revered politicians in the world because he's just smart. And again, like we've lost the element of looking at people as human beings first. And that's what scares me about what's happening across the world, really. It's that we're just judging based on a simple look versus actually getting to know people. And again, that's why I said acceptance, tolerance, it's enough. We have to learn and be better and know, as people have said, know the people that live in your communities, know the people that live next to you so we can learn and be better about how we act in this world and ultimately see that we're not so different from everybody else at all.
Brilliantly put. And we wanted to give you the bridge to come back on the air and not have to deal with this if you don't want to anymore. Are you good? Are you anything else?
Anything else? Literally anything else you want to say?
I think
I think it was brilliantly put.
Thank you. No, and I think as a country we're good, and I think we're going to be okay, and I think we're going to be better. I just think we all need to look into ourselves just a little bit more and do just a little bit more to make sure that we're not just saying it and actually acting on it as well. And that's it.
Dr. King said darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. So I hope you feel the love and not just the hate that's out there.
Thanks.
And same with your community.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sportsnet's Faizal Khamisa.
Our community.
And we are lucky to have him. More Tim and Sid after this.